Today in Conversations That Convert, we're talking about 3 secrets to generating more referral leads. Let's get going.
Welcome to Conversations That Convert. Every week, we'll spend about 10 to 15 minutes tackling relevant lead generation, marketing, and sales topics for remodelers, home improvement companies, and home builders. Conversations That Convert is brought to you by Builder Lead Converter, your perfect sales assistant. And now, here's Rick and Diana.
Hey everyone, welcome to Conversations That Convert. Diana is off today, but we have a very special guest joining us. His name is Matt Santagata from Locorum. Matt, welcome to Conversations That Convert.
Hey Rick, thanks for having me.
So Matt, you and I have been talking. This is a conversation I have quite often. Number one highest converting lead source, and typically the most profitable lead source, is going to be repeat and referral business. However, when you talk to builders, and I talk to builders too, and I say, hey, what are you doing to generate more referral leads, more repeat business? I usually get like a deer in the headlights type stare. In other words, there is no program. It's simply, we let it just happen organically. We try to do a good job, good customer service, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm super excited to talk to you today. This is something that we're looking at doing some partnership together with a product we already created called our referral generator and our maintenance tips. And how do we make it easier for builders to hand out rewards and incentives for sending them more business. But before we jump into that, give us a little bit of background on you and how you got to be here talking to me on Conversations That Convert.
Right on. So, I guess how did I end up here? I guess I'll start by saying I do hold my real estate broker's license in the province of Ontario. So I started my life in the new construction space, we'll call it, as a real estate agent operating a real estate team. I have friends who are home builders. We've repped home builders over the years. And like you kind of said there in the intro, they get a lot of repeat and referral, but they don't organize it. And during my real estate life, one of the things that we actually were doing is, and this actually came out of another conversation with some other people, of people don't know a lot of what's going on in their own city. This is kind of a belief that I have as a realtor. You're a connector. And we started doing what were called Business of the Week interviews. And during those interviews, we were talking to small, medium business owners, and you realize that, they struggle because they don't know how to market necessarily. They don't know how to get exposure. Same issues that you see with builders. Other than for a builder, you go on the MLS and okay, great. It in theory drives traffic, but there's a lot more to it. Obviously there's paid ads, things like that. And over time, we kind of settled on this model or this concept of Locorum, which is, I guess really what it means in Latin is the protector of the local people. And the idea was to create a referral and incentive program that local businesses can use to incentivize local people, to generate business for the businesses. And then in turn, those rewards they would go and spend locally. Kind of like a full circle scenario of, goodness.
Right, exactly.
That way, but
exactly. What's interesting about that is I'm thinking back. So I started as a framer, actually a gopher, then a framer, then I got into sales like you, got my real estate license. I gravitated towards home building because I had a framing background.
Yep.
I remember going through my training, for a new home salesperson, and I was like, well, don't forget to ask for a referral.
Yeah.
And I remember going like, how do I put that in context? Because do I just say, well, do you know anybody else wants to build a home? And then I was told, well, no. Don't just ask the open-ended question. Put it in context. Like say, hey, who from your work or current neighborhood, wants to build a home? But then what I found was, it just became kind of repetitive, and I almost got to the point I felt guilty asking because I'd already asked before, how often should I ask? And what I came to realize is I got to put some skin in the game for them too. It's I got to be able to offer them an incentive. And the licensed real estate agent, there's a whole lot of laws against me being able to do that. So it's I had a limit of, I think it was $25 where I could give them a plant, if you will, saying, hey, thanks for the referral. But one of the things I discovered is that builders, since they are licensed a lot of times through the Department of Labor, they don't
very different laws,
those RESPA laws like I did as a real estate agent. And it was like, whoa, this is like the Wild Wild West. They can pretty much do anything. But talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's it's interesting you say that, because again, like being in sales my whole life, I've had that, same conversation where it's like, no, ask for referrals. And it's, everybody was like, what's the right thing to say? And it's like, like, who do you know? Friends, families, coworkers who are maybe interested in this case, let's say like, building a new home. It does feel repetitive, but the other thing too is studies show that when you are asking for a referral, if you offer an incentive, depending on the study that you look at, offering an incentive increases the likelihood of a referral by anywhere from 40 to 82%.
Wow.
And in reality, when you look at it and you say, okay, I mean, on our platform, generally speaking, most builders who are on there, the definition of when a reward is paid out is a successful completed transaction. What you really are doing is you're actually creating a, it's maybe weird to say it this way, but like a pay for service sales force where you only pay for your salesperson when a deal comes. Mm-hmm. And when people are reminded of these things through an incentivized program, they're more likely to actually send it, because I mean, some people and most people generally are okay if they had a good experience, connecting the dots and saying, hey, you should contact so-and-so. But if you really never ask, or they're never really like that person is never really made aware that you take referrals, maybe they won't send it. Mm-hmm. And that's legitimate. I've heard that from people, mm-hmm. right? And so we always tell people, I mean, you ask as often as you can without it feeling weird, even simple things, in your email signature. You just tell people, you always put it in there. Don't forget, we're never too busy for your referrals. You can earn up to X amount for every successful referral you send us. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've seen people on the platform who have given tens of thousands of dollars to, just one individual based off referrals, because they're a trusted person and they know a lot of people. And why not? I mean, if it's a marketing sales budget thing. I mean, if you're a builder, chances are you have a sales team, or you're the sales team. Could be either or. But if you hire a real estate agent as an example, well, you're paying them to do lead generation, lead follow-up, right? Well, why not also, again, incentivize your past clients to do it? Not even just past clients, your tradespeople. That's been another successful avenue. And as builders, I remember when we first had the start of the conversation of create a program for your tradespeople. Mm-hmm. The builder went super silent, and he was like, I never thought about that. Yeah. And I'm like, well, do they know that they can send you business? And they're like, well, I'm assuming they do. And some have, but do they all know? Mm-hmm. And then it really created that light bulb of, okay, wait a minute. I should be targeting different buckets. There's maybe your messaging for past clients is slightly different than your friends and family. And then for your tradespeople, I mean, after all, like everybody has a network and a database. Mm-hmm. And what better way to get into that network and that database than through incentivization? I mean, especially if it's simple. That's the key, though. And so if you have to, let's say some builders we see, there's some have a very lengthy PDF form that you have to print out and fill out. The magic is in very few fields to fill out. Mm-hmm. You make it very simple. And again, you give the magic to the salespeople. Get a name, a phone number, and an email. Let the salesperson do their job. Yeah. Do the fact-finding questions. Yeah.
I think the challenge that I have found in this is that I'm thinking right now. I got a little coffee shop in my local area. They got a bakery too. I've got a punch card. Mm-hmm. So I go in there, I order a coffee, punch my card, 10 cups of coffee. I get a free cup of coffee. Yep. It's like it's like a $3 thing, but I'm doing it. My wife loves.
Everyone does it. Yeah.
That, so it doesn't take much to do that. Now that's what we call a frequent purchase. So the
Yep.
challenge that I've always found in this business is that it's a very infrequent purchase, meaning that we might build one home in a lifetime, or maybe only one every 10 years.
Yep.
Renovating, we might only renovate a home every 3, 4, 5 years. So it's an infrequent purchase. So I know from a builder standpoint, trying to stay top of mind, it's easy with a frequent purchase, right? Every time I get a cup of coffee once a week, okay,
Yes.
There's the business. But when I'm only have an interaction with that client, say once a lifetime, or once every 10 years or 5 years, if it's a renovation project, that is the challenge. And the other thing that I've caught myself, Matt, and I'm sure you can speak to this, is when I know there's a referral incentive in it for me, and I say to my neighbor, hey, if you want to get your kitchen remodel like I did, tell them I sent you, and then I'll get $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have a hard time saying that, because my neighbor is like, well, good for you.
Why are you only getting it?
Yeah, what about me? So that's the other thing I realize, is that when you put these programs together, I have to not only make it easy to send that referral, but I've got to make it easy for my referral partner, that's what I'm going to call the trade partner or my past client. I've got to make it easy for them to promote me. So maybe you could speak to that a little bit more. Yeah.
So on our platform, what we have, it's actually it's a utility patent pending is what we have, and it's a flow of how someone submits a referral. But the benefit to what our program outlines is it's full transparency. So if I'm, let's say me, Matt, I'm sending a referral, you, Rick, to ABC Builder. The idea is incentivize both people. Give them both something. Why not? And it's transparent. It's there. Generally speaking, on our platform, let's say if you have, we call it internally, it's called a marketing budget. And I'll use $1,000 just because it's easy math. But let's say if you have $1,000 marketing budget for your referral program, I would get 500, you would get 500. In the case of a builder, what builders will also do is they'll include, let's say, instead of giving that person who is being referred to purchase the home $500 on their custom branded card, what they would do is give them that monetary amount in, let's say, free upgrades or in the design center. So at least they're incentivized as well, because where it does feel weird is, oh yeah, tell them I sent you because then I get this. Because then the question that always arises is, well, wait a minute, why do you get something and I don't? Mm-hmm. Let's just split it. Yeah. But be transparent about it. That's what we always tell people. It's like, you want the transparency, because that's when then you don't run into the issues and the problems with it. It's when you're very secretive about it, that's where it can get goofy. And that's why we always say to builders, we say, listen, make this a marketing budget that you're comfortable with. Mm-hmm. Don't go do something crazy. It doesn't have to be crazy. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be a ridiculous amount. You make it something where you're happy to have this become a regular occurrence on every transaction. But the other thing that I want to hit on is something that you said earlier, where you're like building a home, they interact with their clients infrequently. They don't have to. They just happen to.
Yeah, right.
Because most builders, they look at the transaction as just like, well, yeah, you're just building a home. We tell the builders all the time, if there's one thing every homeowner needs to know, it's how to take care of their home properly. Mm-hmm. Not everybody knows how to take care of their home properly. And maybe it's because they're a first-time home buyer. Maybe they've never had a forced air gas furnace before, and they don't know that it has a furnace filter. There's all these different things, but again, depending on where you're building, seasonality is different. I mean, I'm in Canada. We get snow, and sometimes a lot of snow and a lot of cold. But maybe if you're in Florida, home maintenance looks very different. And we always assume that homeowners know exactly what they should be doing. And I actually think, I'm going to say it this way, and I don't mean to be rude, but it's almost like shame on the builder for thinking they only have a single interaction. Right. They actually, like, if you think about it, it's someone's home. Why aren't you sending them a quarterly message giving them a, hey, by the way, it's spring and this is what you should be doing to ensure that your home is properly maintained. And then that's the perfect opportunity of, again, reintroducing the, oh, by the way, if you have any friends, family, or coworkers that are interested in buying a home, don't forget about our amazing referral program. You can earn up to X and they can earn up to X.
I remember, so I managed a warranty department, and I can tell you right now, and I talk to a lot of builders when it comes to warranty, especially remodelers and renovators. So for some reason, home builders, they're more in tune with, hey, I'm going to have a 1-year workmanship, maybe 2-year mechanical, 10-year structural. They understand they've got to be involved in that warranty process. But a lot of remodelers, they're sort of like, okay, project's done. And I said, well, do you have to give them a warranty, per your state licensing? And a lot of them say, yeah, I got to do a 1-year workmanship warranty, but we really don't do anything. I mean, they're almost like, I don't want to reach out to them after the project is done, because I don't want them to come back and say, oh, by the way, I've got 6 nail pops I want you to come back and fix, or, whatever. But here's something I learned, Matt, when I was, overseeing our warranty department and also as a GM for a builder, is that one of our competitors, he would go back and warranty stuff like years after the warranty had expired. And we finally talked to him, like, his name was, it was a Wentzman. Can't remember his first name, but Wentzman Homes. He's no longer in business. But we'd say, Herb was his name, his friend. We'd say, Herb, why are you doing this? It's like, because we were arguing with people, they're 13 months since completion. They got a 12-month warranty. They want to come back. We're arguing with them. And Herb, said the smartest thing, I'll never forget this. He goes, it's not warranty. He said, it's public relations.
Bingo. This
is part of my marketing budget. This is public relations. If I go back and I take care of that person out of warranty, number one, he goes, I'm going to make sure they know what's out of warranty. But number two, I'm going to make sure that they know that I'm going to come and take care of them, even if it's out of warranty, because that's the type of builder we are. And that was his in to get to staying top of mind and getting referrals, is through his warranty department. So I'd say you bring up a good point.
It's creating raving fans.
Don't ignore that maybe that obligation you have, just because you don't want to send a guy out there. Sending that guy out there and fixing something that is an issue leaves a lasting impression. And then at the same time, what can you do? You can say, oh, by the way, did you know about it? We have a referral program here, rewards program. In fact, you can earn this. The other thing I wanted to comment on is that I agree 100% where the referral, the lead coming in, by offering that incentive in the form of options, or part of the project. Well, if I've got a 1.5 to 1.7 markup on those options, I can pay out $1,000 and my cost might be $500-600.
Yes.
For there. So I could even say, I'm going to give my referee, my past client, and say, I'm going to give you $500, but if you send someone my way, they'll get $1,000 off their project. Because I've got that markup, my cost is about netting the same. And now, again, if I'm that guy, that's my past client, I can say, hey, Matt, you know what? If you want to remodel your kitchen, I would use ABC Builders. As a matter of fact, if you mention my name, I'll get $500, but you're going to get $1,000.
Yeah, you'll get $1,000 of design center credit, and that could get you pot lights, granite countertop, whatever it is. Like.
Right.
Yeah. And it's that again, and it's, why not? Like, it's just, again, like the goal is to sell. The goal is to get a client and convert it. Now, with that being said, I will say this, like, even though referrals, I would agree, generally are the best form of a lead that you want, you can't forget doing all the other stuff too. Like, this is a silo of many silos that you have as a business. It's just, again, when you do look at successful businesses out there, a lot of them have referral and incentive programs. Why? Because they work, right?
Yeah.
They do. I mean, Dropbox has one, Tesla has one, Uber has one. And I'm using them because, like, a lot of people obviously know who those businesses are. I mean, and they work because, again, though, as long as you're a happy customer, you'll send a referral, especially if you have an incentive to do it. It's just, I mean, the stats are the stats, right? Like, if somebody asks you, like, oh, who built your home? Oh, so-and-so. Yeah, I would do it again. Like, sure, great. But if there's an incentive for both parties, well, the stats say, again, depending on which one you want to read, some say, 40%, some say 82% greater likelihood of somebody sending a referral. I mean, it makes total sense. The other thing, though, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I just want to touch on one point you made is like, why aren't more builders doing it? I think a lot of builders look at that and say, Matt, I'm up to my eyeballs. I wear 6 different hats. I don't have the time to manage a program like this. So it's just like one more thing they got to deal with, and they just don't want to deal with. But maybe you could touch a little bit more on that, whether it's now or in a couple of minutes, as how your system can sort of run that entity for that builder.
Yeah, so basically what we do is we have a partnership with MasterCard, and all of our vendors, so let's say like ABC Home Builder has a program with us. They can, depending on the program they choose to be on and what they want to offer, they can actually send out up to $100,000 on a prepaid MasterCard. Now, the important thing that we also do, like, that's a lot of money, right? You can send as little as $10, you can send 100,000. We make sure that all the laws are covered. So we do KYB, which is know your business. We do KYC, know your consumer. A lot of businesses don't realize this, but when you actually do give incentive or cash or anything to anybody, by law, you actually have to record who they are. And that's because of money laundering and, and all the, dirty business that's going on. But we bring security to people. One of the things you talk about time savings, one of our clients, they estimate that they have saved 4.25 hours on every referral because of how quick and easy it is for somebody to send rewards upon completion. So lead comes in and I'm the builder, and let's say it's $1,000 that I'm sending out. I can approve that and send it within 2 minutes. It's essentially, I have to get into the dashboard. I have to select that lead, top right corner, I hit complete. And essentially there's 3 stages that I go through. The last one is the final completion, and that reward is sent off. We do custom branded prepaid MasterCards. So the builder's logo is on it. The client's name is stamped on it. So it's personalized, and then it's delivered to them. Some builders will also choose to hand deliver it to their clients. So what they do is they'll have, instead of it delivered to the person's home, they'll deliver it to their office, and then they like to hand deliver it or give it to them or put it in a card. So we have a whole host of different options. The other thing that I'm realizing now too is a lot of builders, they'll do this with gift cards, but they'll go to stores and buy gift cards. And there's this new phenomenon that just started happening in the past 6 months, where I guess you can write down the serial number of these cards that are just sitting on the shelf, and you can check them to see if they have balances. And somehow, I don't know how this happens, but somehow some of these gift cards, they end up scooping the balances when they're activated. So we actually also bring another layer of security.
Wow.
Yeah, I've realized this over the past month, because more and more people are like, oh yeah, somebody gave me a $500 gift card. I went to activate it and it was already I'm like, how does this even happen? Yeah. And it was just recently explained that they just take the serial number off the back and do a whole bunch of trickery stuff that I guess criminals do. So we also bring a layer of security, because I would really hate to give somebody let's be honest, like, you as a business owner, you give somebody a prepaid card that you picked up at a store, and then you find out that all of a sudden some form of fraud occurred and they never got it. Now what do you do?
Right. Yeah.
Replace it? Do you not replace it? I mean, as a business owner, I would want to replace it, but then now all my budgets are out of whack.
Yeah. And I know you also have the ability to give out a digital gift card too, which I think you were saying, hey, when you have a younger demographic, you might mail that person a gift card and they don't even open the mail, or it gets tossed away. But if you give them a digital gift card, it's on their phone, they're going to use it right away.
It's on their phone. They can, essentially they can load it up on their Google or Apple Pay in 3 minutes and then spend it right there and then. One of the neatest ways I heard a builder use the digital card was, so they had potential buyers that were coming from out of town. So they were doing a 2-hour drive. They'd been to the site before. So this wasn't like a a fresh lead coming in. This was like, I think it was the third time they had been there, but this was that one where they really were hoping to finalize what they were doing, their time frame, and call it put pen to paper. And so what the sales rep did is their meeting was at 1:00. And when they were talking to them the day before, they confirmed, like, yes, okay, we got a 2-hour drive. We're going to leave at this time. They were going to leave at, I think it was like 9:30, 9:45. They would get there. Then they were going to go grab lunch with their 2 kids before they came to the site, because they're younger kids. And they're like, well, if we have younger kids and we show up and they're hungry, it's going to be chaos.
Yeah.
What that agent did is the morning that they were coming to the meeting, he sent them $100 on a virtual card with a message in the email. Hey, I understand you're going to stop for lunch. I would recommend this place, or this place. This is what I like on the menu. This is what my kids like on the menu. Here's $100. Lunch is on us.
That's cool. That's really neat.
So long story short, those buyers bought, loved it, because the message though was personalized to, again, these are people who are moving from out of town. They don't know the area. So as a sales rep, you do ask questions. What are your hobbies? What do you do outside of work? Like, do you have friends and family? So we knew what kind of food they liked, and that's where he directed them to. But they came in, they inked the deal. They were so impressed because they were just like, I guess they said like they were just going to stop for fast food and, stretch their legs. But they're like, no, this was great. We actually got to go somewhere that was more in line with what they would generally like to eat in the area.
I love that.
That person sent them 2 referrals.
Is that right? That's amazing. One of the things that is thinking out loud here again is that one of the clients I work with really got into what I would call staging the experience. So in other words, if you read the book Raving Fan Experience, it talks about how do you deliver not just happy customers, but raving fans. They're going to go all of the way to promote you. So he would stage experiences throughout the design and build aspects of his business. So one of the things that we would do is, we would have we call a rough-in meeting. Okay, so the home is framed up, and people are going to spend a long time there. Well, oftentimes in the winter, it's cold, right? I mean, and he's in a cold climate as well. And so we would be telling people, oh, make sure you bundle up, that sort of thing. Well, we started to actually buy earmuffs and bring gloves for people, because inevitably the wife would show up and she'd be dressed all cute and she'd be like shivering in 5 minutes. But one of the other things we used to do is that we used to give them a gift card ahead of time and say, hey, go get a cup of hot coffee and bring it to the site with you. The other area is selections. Selections can turn into be a long day. You can again send them a digital gift card, and they say, hey, go have lunch, just like that. Here's some places we recommend.
Go have lunch on us. And here's some recommendations based off of what you've learned about these people over your interaction. That's where the magic happens. Because a lot of people look at this where you're like, oh, it's impersonal. It is, if that's how you would like it to be.
Right.
But I mean, really, like there's one example, we call it the neighborhood pass. And what it is when someone's moving to an area and they get a rewards card, is you craft an email of all these places they should go visit based off what you learned about them. And again, it shows that you pay attention. It shows that, no, this wasn't just a transaction. This was, what kind of food I like, what kind of hobbies I have, something about my family, like, because you always say if they have kids, you make reference to the kids, like, hey, here's flying squirrel, like, maybe take your kids to flying squirrel. They mentioned they like gymnastics, and it's basically a gymnasium full of trampolines. Like, you use it in ways that, allow you to be creative. And it works. It works well.
So let's just recap here a little bit, because I want to end talking more about these are great promotional ideas. You briefly touched on employee incentives, or maybe you haven't yet. I want to come back to that. But so we're looking at you set up your referral program. There's a reward for the person giving you the referral and a reward for the person who is being referred.
Correct.
Again, you can tie that referral to cash, send them either a gift card in the mail, or have them come into the office, or a digital gift card.
However you want it to work.
Having them come into the office, because then I get a picture, I put it on my social media and say, hey, congratulations to our latest reward winner, and promote things that way too. Case studies are very important. But then now it's a lesser extent. Now I've got maybe a trade program. So a trade is sending me a referral. And then talk a little bit more about employee incentives.
So employee incentives are a neat one. And so that's where, like, I mean, what do you do for employees these days, or like for your staff these days? I don't know. Everybody's got different ideas, but it's like, okay, on their birthday, send them $25 digitally and buy them lunch. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it's, maybe it's not just $25. Maybe it's, here's $200. Take, go out for dinner on me. Mm-hmm. Right. Work, we call them work anniversaries. So it's like, obviously your 2-year, your 3-year, your 4-year, your 5-year. It's a lot cheaper to have happier employees by doing little things for them than it is to always try and hire new ones, right? Some bigger companies that use our platform, if they're hiring people, they'll run an incentive internally. So if you already work for the company and you connect HR with someone that hires, you get incentivized. When you start your first day, again, here's $50, go grab lunch. Here's 3 recommendations. And it's more like if it's places that are near the office or near their home, you make those recommendations. You spend that time understanding what's around there. And I always say, like, use the more smaller niche-y style places for them to explore. But one other way that our platform's being used is, yes, we're a referral platform, but you can also do, like, through these programs, doing sending of rewards is what we call it. And that's essentially just a one-way send. So builders are also using this for other things. So for instance, when you purchase a home with ABC Home Builder, they'll maybe include $10,000 of ABC Home Builder rewards. And then people ask, well, what's that $10,000 for? Well, it could be for appliances. It could be for blinds. It could be for landscaping. It could be to help pay for movers. It could be for anything marketing and promotional that they want. The idea, though, is that it gives them the power of, like, yeah, okay, you build a brand new home, you need appliances. Some builders include appliances, some don't. Some builders don't like including it because the warranty process gets goofy. So include it on a rewards card. Have them go out and select exactly what they want. Mm-hmm. Oh, you've got blinds. Great. Build it into your budget. We have, X amount of dollars set aside in the budget for blinds. And by the way, it's on this rewards card. It's also a nice way to introduce your referral program. Right. And it's like, here's the 2 businesses or 3 businesses that we recommend for blinds. They do a good job. The other part with that is that's a good way of then showing reciprocal business to your business. I call it industry partners, right? Because they see the card. I know it came from the builder. Yep. There's even some builders that have actually then gone a little step further. And this one's actually really neat, is with some of these key businesses that they refer a lot of business to. When those clients show up with the card, they get an additional discount. Yeah. So they'll say, hey, you'll get an extra 5% off when you show the card. And that way it's also encouraging that person to actually go and spend it at that specific spot. So like landscaping's a big one. We've seen people do it with a mover, appliances, and then blinds. Those are kind of like the big categories of creating a budget. And then the builder gets to remain hands off for it.
Well, and you and I were talking about before this, but I always encourage any home builder, they should have a preferred lender, a preferred title company. And so a lot of times that lender or title company will say an incentive for the buyer is, if you build a home with ABC Builders and finance it through here and use so-and-so title to close a transaction, you will get X amount off closing costs. Now the builder can turn around and say, in addition to that, I'm going to give you a $5,000 rebate to use towards landscaping, appliances, blinds. Use any of these companies, and in addition to the $5,000, they'll give you 5%, 10% off. Whatever. Plus that. So that's a great differentiation. I mean, I'm thinking 2 things. Number one, I'm always trying to differentiate myself and actually have someone logically justify buying from me versus one of my competitors. as a home builder, my biggest competitor is a used house. It's already up. That used house has landscaping, has appliances, and has blinds.
Yep.
So those buyers right now are thinking, oh, well, I've got to add this, this, and this, even though there's still a lot of benefits of new versus used. But the other issue, obviously, is just affordability right now.
Yep.
You know, it's just more expensive to buy a home with a higher interest rate, and being able to say, yeah, I'm going to use this to help offset some of those higher expenses you're experiencing, living expenses, so you don't have to put this money in there. But yeah, I love that. It's great ideas, and you know, it gets me. I know. So I look at what we talked about here today. Just to recap, is so we went right up to a lead coming in, like for a call where we could use your system to send them a digital card to get lunch, to where it could be used during the design process, and they're going some of those long selection meetings. You could use it in the construction process where you've got rough-in meetings or walkthrough meetings, and then obviously use it as an incentive program on the back end to get more referrals, employee incentives, trade partners. I think we just covered everything.
Circle.
I think we're full circle, right?
Yeah.
I think that's how it goes. But super exciting. And if somebody is interested in learning more about you guys, what should they do?
What should they do? I guess we call it book a demo and or consultation. So if you go to locorum.io, LOCORUM.io, you can just through there. It's a simple button. Book a demo. Jump on for a 15-minute call. Generally speaking, through that process, we like to show them what the dashboard looks like so they kind of understand it a little better. Yeah, and it's that simple. I mean, reach out if some people, if you have an idea, we've probably heard it, and we can give you an example of another builder that's using it. I mean, one other one that we actually didn't mention, reviews. So Google, Facebook, and house reviews, incentivizing for that.
Yeah, that's what you and I are talking about as part of our referral generator. We're trying to build an online reputation, get feedback throughout, right when the contract's signed, all the way to after when warranty is complete. So incentivizing people to not only give you survey feedback, but also to post that positive feedback on different review platforms, online review platforms, in addition to sending referrals. So, and that's actually something that we're going to be talking about in the future. Our hope is to create a partnership where if you're using our platform, this process is more or less automated, where you're sending out those surveys during that process as well as afterwards. And we're just going to build Locorum right into it. So if they send somebody in, we're tracking it. You can click a button, send them the reward, and off you go.
Yep.
Well, Matt, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Great ideas today, and a very, very, very exciting. So again, that website is Locorum. I'm going to spell that out for those of you listening. LOCORUM as in Mary.io. And again, we'll be working with Matt and getting that partnership together, and so we can bake that into the Builder Lead Converter platform. So, Matt, thanks again. Appreciate it very much. Thank you for listening. And for my brothers and sisters in Christ, may the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you all always. See you next time on Conversation.